Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for being here, Connie Balmer. Hey, Connie Balmer. Thank you so much for being first. Mary H., Emma D., Helen Marmon. Let's see, Kathy G., CK, Joya Moore, Ingrid Sowers, TB, and Calavita Juan Najagu. Did I get that right? Oh, I know I got it right before. Zakoi Farms, Calavita, Hazel Jones, Compton Cali Gal, Jessica Foreman. Okay, welcome one and all. Well, of all things, a royal reporter has referred to Meghan. Well, you know what? I'll wait till I get to that one and I'll show you the reason why I use this title today. There's a good reason for it. I didn't really think about it so much. I mean, it's always been there, but now it seems like a perfect fit. I mean, it's always fit. Don't get me wrong. There's been that fit. There's been a sense of entitlement um, for Kate Middleton all these years, but it is so glaringly obvious. I guess I was so busy defending the Duchess of Sussex, I wasn't paying much attention to her. I mean, I knew she was a mean girl, but hmm. Plus, that term narcissist has been thrown around so much, I don't even like to think about it, let alone say it. But it must be said. It just simply must. Um, so let's get on with it. Zubaida Ali, thank you for being here. Lori Lewicki, thank you so much for being here. Robin Hyde. Gwendolyn Daniels. Heather Stroud. You know what? I don't give up easy. Calavetta. Nawajagu. Nawajagu. Yes. Calavita Nawajagu. Yes, I knew it. I just had to take my time and sound it out. Anyway, with deepest respect, thank you so much for giving me a second chance to get it right. And I'm going to give myself some applause. Oh, okay. That was enough the first time. All right. Okay, we're good. All right, let's move on. So, we're going to start with this. Okay, you guys, trigger alert. I know, trigger alert, but it's going to help me make my point. You got to be thinking at this point, what good could possibly come out of this motley crew? Well, just give me an opportunity and I will explain. All shall be understood in due time. Zubaida, I'm glad that I can be helpful. All right. Oh, I need to prop that up just a little bit. Do I? Yes, this works. This works. I think that helps. Okay, let's do this, okay? Again, trigger alert, but don't feel bad. We're going someplace with this.
For their strategy, because there was an opportunity there for the record.
A 2-year strategy blown up in one instant.
It was absolutely dreadful idea. But going back to the mood board, going back to how their kind of life is there, are we agreeing there's kind of no 7-year itch then? I mean, things are moving on quite well as far as we're aware. I did a story this week saying that Harry would never leave Meghan, but obviously they've gone through, they've had between them there's been a lot of sacrifices.
I think that they are dependent on each other though.
Yeah,
totally. Well, that's what you said, Jack.
Yeah, I agree.
So we are in total agreement. They are very dependent on each other.
There was this story that Meghan, had her people approach someone about a divorce book. But I mean, imagine if Meghan left Harry, it would destroy her reputation. She would be eviscerated publicly because she's already slipped into this kind of category on social media, the way that pop culture commentators talk about her. They lump her in with Amber Heard. They lump her in with, these other famous women who are perceived as being narcissistic or, being controlling of their husbands. Alec Baldwin's wife got this treatment the other day. Blake Lively as well. So if she walked out on Harry, she would never reputationally survive it. But then Harry, without Meghan, what's his life in America going to be like?
Well, he wouldn't leave the children. And in America, the rules about, children, they're always with the mother, nearly always.
Yeah.
So I mean, so it's not going to happen. So do you remember where 5 years? Everyone, when they got married, a lot of members actually of the royal family even said it won't last 5 years, but it has.
It has.
Yeah,
it's lasted 7.
Yeah.
Through a lot of crises, through a lot of
huge pressure.
You talk about some strategic errors. I mean, that would be a major strategic error on Meghan's behalf, basically, if we looked at it strategically.
Yeah, and obviously you can't just look at your marriage strategically because you live it daily. But strategically, it would be a catastrophic mistake.
Interesting.
And I think I think she does need Harry. I think she does, and she must know by now that she doesn't get everything right.
Yeah, so we're behaviour experts, we're marriage experts.
But without Harry, she is nothing.
She's nothing, and without her, Harry's life in America is nothing.
Yes, exactly.
He has a reputation to fall back.
So they have a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, they need each other.
Yeah.
And one thing Meghan does do without Harry is her podcast. Yeah, I'm open that I rarely listen to it. I know we spoke the other day, Jack. I said, have you been listening to the podcast? And me and you were...
Okay, you guys. Okay, let me go back a little bit here.
Other famous women who are perceived as, being narcissistic or, being controlling of their husbands. Alec Baldwin's wife got this treatment the other day.
Okay, all of those people that he mentioned, right? We would have no awareness of any of the women that was mentioned, but for the tabloid media. How much awareness will we have of anyone? Let's just go with Carolyn Fleck. Carolyn Fleck, who just couldn't seem to get anything right. Did you hear when he said that Meghan doesn't get everything right? It is a formula that these people use against women. And we all know that in particular, Black women, women of color, but Black women, they go out of their way to dog whistle, to insinuate all of these talking points against a Black woman. Meghan, no exception. This was part of the 1-year plan to try to drive them back into the bosoms of the institution. It was allegedly signed off on by the houses of Windsor to break them in any way they could, to destroy them, to make them afraid, They went to other countries and said, don't work with them. Do not give them protection. Do not help them in any way. And that came all the way from the top. Those orders came all the way from the top. And this idea that she's nothing without him, no, that's the Left Behind royal. We all know who she's nothing without him. We already know who that is. No way that is about Meghan. These are the same tabloid people that boast and brag about all of the attributes that Meghan had prior to the wedding, only for Ingrid to spill the beans that the royal family assumed that it wouldn't last more than 5 years. That includes herself. That includes herself. And then, of course, Lurch, top right, Lurch. He says, well, we're marriage counselors and so on and so forth. You know, the height of comedy, wasn't it? Okay. Let me do some more of that.
So, you know, Blake Lively as well. So if she walked out on Harry, she would never reputationally survive it. But then Harry, without Meghan, what's his life in America going to be like?
Well, he wouldn't leave the children, you see. And in America, the rules about, children, they're always with the mother, nearly always.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so it's not going to happen. So do you remember everyone, when they got married, a lot of members actually of the royal family even said it won't last 5 years. But it has.
It has.
Yeah.
It's lasted 7.
Yeah.
Through a lot of crises, through a lot of,
huge pressure.
You talked about some strategic errors. I mean, that would be a major strategic error on Meghan's behalf, basically, if we looked at it strategically.
Yeah, and obviously you can't just look at your marriage strategically because you live it daily. But strategically, it would be a catastrophic mistake.
Interesting.
And I think I think she does need Harry.
Oh God, that's enough to make you want to vomit, isn't it? But again, that was Ingrid Seward, right? Ingrid Seward, her, the Hanna-Barbera effigy, that was her.
She said she did, it wasn't a real wedding. She kind of made a big fuss about it then. So I think she's reflecting the fact that actually she's looking back on that particular anniversary a bit more positively now. There's some pictures in there of her kids where you can kind of sort of see their faces. It's very, very, very small and not, necessarily a high-res image. But, there's a little bit more comfort with showing her children there because obviously historically they've been very private about Archie and Lily. So I think she's generally putting across a much more positive, upbeat, happy impression than perhaps she has done at certain points in the
You're
past.
being very nice, Jeff. You're being very nice. I take a more cynical view of this.
Please do.
And I think that Meghan is, I've never heard of someone doing a mood board for a wedding anniversary, but maybe it does happen now. But I think Meghan is just so Californian in everything she does. And that is not a criticism. That's the way they do things.
Yeah.
So probably it's completely normal. But I just think you can look, but you can't touch sort of thing. These are my children, but they're tiny, tiny pictures, so you can't see them. And aren't Harry and I happy? It seems to be such a very narcissistic way of doing things to celebrate an anniversary, showing it to the world. Surely, if they really were as happy as she makes out, she wouldn't need to tell anyone. That's what it smacks of to me.
Well, interestingly, because Instagram is the social media choice for people who want to portray a kind of overly realistic, happy representation of their life. That's the forum that everyone does.
Curation.
Yeah, you go on Instagram and you think, wow, they've got an exciting life, and that's what Meghan has chosen to do by going on this platform.
It's almost like an Instagram grid in itself, isn't it? This mood board is almost like looking at an Instagram grid.
But it was on her Instagram, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's, you know, there's some. I actually did enjoy looking back through some of the old pictures, not all of which were new. You know, there were pictures there of their engagement. Do you remember the engagement photo shoot they did where Meghan was in that incredibly expensive dress?
Okay. Now, let me get to the point. She said, okay, let's do that again.
California in everything she does. And I mean, that is not a criticism. They're just, that's the way they do things.
Yeah.
So probably it's completely normal. But I just think it's, you can look, but you can't touch sort of thing. You know, these are my children, but they're tiny, tiny pictures, so you can't see them. And aren't Harry and I happy? It seems to me such a very narcissistic way of doing things.
Aren't Harry and I happy? It seems like a very narcissistic way of doing things. So Meghan expressing her happiness is narcissistic, right? Let me show you what I put together to demonstrate a narcissistic way of demonstrating one's happiness. The look of love. Kate and William beam in adorable photos shared to mark Valentine's Day. Aren't we in love? Isn't that narcissistic? When you take a camera crew, and costume changes to the woods, to the beach, to a field of grain, to make a video to say, aren't we happy? Look at what I've overcome. Is this rooted in reality for most people that are overcoming whatever it is Kate Middleton says she's overcome? What about the people that are lonely, single, divorced, or never had a solid relationship that find themselves going through cancer treatment or even having survived cancer, and they don't have a camera crew? Maybe they don't have children, and they certainly don't have Britain's favorite billionaire to fall back on, the billion-pound duchy William. They don't have that. So who's the narcissist? Who is the narcissist? Another point I'd like to make. Take a look on the right side. Narcissist Kate, who only goes to the men's portion of Wimbledon, never the women. She is only there to the service of men, especially the ones she finds very attractive. And so there's the wife of one of those male players from the past who found herself up against the Princess of Wales. She's leaning in, giggling, laughing, touching him. Now, there were two newspaper headlines. One, in so many words, said how bitter she was because of Kate's insensitivity carrying on with her husband like that. And then the next one, after the phone call from Kensington Palace, had a whole nother headline. And if necessary, I could produce those, but I just don't feel like it right now. But there was a whole nother headline, which it was swapped because of Kate. Look at how animated and happy and joyful she is. She's more sensitive and more humane with a stranger than she is with her own husband, with this uncomfortable, awkward exchange that they have. Take a look there on the left side. That's in your face. That's being very narcissistic. Look at how happy we are. They almost look like they want to body slam each other. They almost look like adversaries more than husband and wife or lovers. They always look like they don't know what to do with each other. This is being narcissistic. What about the people who don't have the opportunity to go to the woods, to get some fresh air, to clear their minds, or to go to the island of Knoll for photo ops. These are very professional videos and photos that were custom made to convey this so-called love story between those two. And anybody who's been around knows better. But they call Meghan the narcissist over something that happens to be very true. And I can almost tell you, I don't know anybody who's friends with the Sussexes that would say otherwise. Time and time again, everyone says they're the same away from the cameras as you see them in front of the cameras. There's nothing different. What about the surveillance footage during the pandemic where they were delivering food for seniors, for pensioners? There was nothing different. In each other's corner, having each other's back. But this contrived, nonsensical approach that these two have, and the only reason why they're doing this is because they want this very smooth transition to the throne. Which brings me to another point. I'm actually kind of concerned for Charles because this was a very, look at these two narcissists right here. He can't even act like he wants to be there for 5 minutes. Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, Prince William, Kensington Palace, blah, blah, blah. These two narcissists actually take an entire film crew. They release these video shorts. There's even one for today's activity, but christening the ship today. That I guess it's a naval destroyer, whatever it is. They just had a big ceremony for that. And then what happens? Will and Kate has another one of those slow motion videos where you see them walking in slow motion and there's a little strumming guitar or whatever music is in the background. All of that says, look at us, we're busy. I say it equates narcissism. Oh, how narcissistic. It also brings you face to face with your own vulnerabilities. So she is saying to the working class people, the people who actually do have cancer, that cannot miss a day's work, that may be the principal breadwinner for the household, whatever the case may be. She's saying, go and play around in nature. Or how about this narcissism? So embarrassing, Mom and Dad. Princess Charlotte's hilarious reaction to Prince William kissing Kate Middleton leaves royal fans in stitches. No, the truth is most people were very turned off by this. Even some of their most, ardent fans, their most loyal fans for the royal family, they were very turned off by this. There were royal reporters that were like, enough of this. Don't do this again. And what happened? They turn around and do it another time and another time. They will not stop cranking out these ridiculous videos. This one has to be the worst, though. I mean, okay, let's hear that again one more time. Let's hear that again.
Probably it's completely normal, but I just think it's, you can look, but you can't touch sort of thing. These are my children, but they're tiny, tiny pictures, so you can't see them. And aren't Harry and I happy? It seems to me such a very narcissistic way of doing things to celebrate an anniversary, showing it to the world. Surely, if they really were as happy as she makes out, she wouldn't need to tell anyone.
Right. And if Kate is doing as well as she says she's doing, she wouldn't have to tell anyone. But instead, they use it as an opportunity to promote Team Cambridge. This is narcissistic to believe that instead of going to a hospital ward, instead of raising money for a charity or an organization that deals with cancer, your best solution to help others is to try to inspire them by rolling in the grass, jumping over sand dunes, hopping up on bales of hay and logs, and of course, the walking through a field of grain. That is the measure of Kate Middleton's generosity to the public. She is going to inspire you to death. She's going to show you how to take long walks in the country. Oh, and by the way, if you want to share your mood, right? Don't use a mood board. Take a oh, I almost let out the F-bomb. Take a whole flipping camera crew with you. Nothing narcissistic about that, right? Take an entire camera crew. And notice you rarely hear Harry and Meghan and their Netflix cameras. When was the last time you heard Harry and Meghan and their Netflix cameras? Even though Meghan has a series that involves the Netflix cameras, you almost can't pay anybody to say it. And why? Because there's Will and Kate with their camera crew everywhere they go. They are curating and collecting footage to be used at a later date. So when they come up with these vignettes, these videos of them out doing busy work, add music, and of course, use the slow motion frame here and there. But Meghan and her mood board is narcissistic. I'm like, Lord, why did you let me hear that? Why did you let me hear that? Why? That I shouldn't have heard that. I shouldn't have heard that. Because now I can't stop thinking about the hypocrisy of it.
In everything she does. And I mean, that is not a criticism. They're just, that's the way they do things.
Yeah.
So probably it's completely normal. But I just think it's, you can look, but you can't touch sort of thing. You know, these are my children, but they're tiny, tiny pictures, so you can't see them. And aren't Harry and I happy? It seems to me such a very narcissistic way of doing things to celebrate an anniversary, showing it to the world. Surely, if they really were as happy as she makes them, she wouldn't need to tell anyone. That's what it smacks of to me.
Well, interestingly, because Instagram is the social media choice of people who want to portray a kind of overly realistic, happy representation of their life. I mean, that's the forum that, everyone's
Curation.
Yeah, you got Instagram and you think, wow, they've got an exciting life. And that's what Meghan has chosen to do by going on this platform.
It's almost like an Instagram grid in itself, hasn't it? This mood board is almost like looking at an Instagram grid.
But it was on her Instagram, wasn't it? Yes.
It's, there's some...
You know who else has an Instagram? Will and Kate. Yeah, Will and Kate has an Instagram. As a matter of fact, wasn't it the New York Times that insists that Will and Kate was buying? Didn't the New York Times accuse them of buying followers for their Instagram? Just to make sure that they always stayed at least 3,000 or 4,000 followers ahead of the Sussexes. Do you guys remember that? The New York Times, the old gray lady, one of the most compelling, fair, accurate newspapers in the land, respected the world over. They accused the Cambridges of buying followers, of engineering a greater level of success so that they would never have to play second fiddle to the very organic and naturally derived followers for the Sussexes. See what we're dealing with here? But remember, it is Meghan and Harry that are the, no, it's just Meghan who's the narcissist, not Kate, with her walks in the countryside. Will and Kate on Love Island, this whole thing is contrived. And then the backlash. Why is Kate Middleton's nature video so damn annoying? Tom Sykes, who otherwise would drink champagne out of her boot, is even trying to urge them ever so gently, don't keep doing this. Don't do this. It doesn't look good. It does not look good. Narcissist Kate, who wants all of the attention as a tennis player, but she married Prince William, right? Remember, Kate is supposed to be so athletic. So what does Narcissist Kate do? Oh, she has a little exhibition round with a real tennis player. How about Narcissist Kate, who was so angry when William went off to Singapore without her, she thought she thought that she was going to put herself into a pair of Lululemon stretch pants, yoga pants, and go out and do military drills or whatever it was she was doing. She thought that that was going to break the internet. I promise you guys, don't ask me why. I'm just saying I know. In my gut, I do believe that Narcissist Kate thought that showing up in those Lululemon spandex, stretchable yoga pants was going to draw all the attention away from William. Now, you know who could do that if she chose to do it, and that was Princess Diana. I don't care where in the world Charles was going and what he had to say. Princess Diana could go out for lunch at McDonald's and take the front page of all the papers. Or how about, well, I have nothing to say about that one. And what about Narcissist Kate, who wore white to another woman's wedding? She literally wore white. And you guys, I promise you, that coat dress in several newspaper articles, that's an Alexander McQueen coat dress, white, has been recorded and noted as a white coat dress. Now, there's a little hint of yellow in the hat that she's wearing, but the dress is white. And it was all deliberate. Done on purpose. And of course, the press avoided mentioning that. But it's an Alexander McQueen. And she's worn it several times, including the Sussex wedding. And that was deliberate. I promise you that was deliberate. So they accuse Meghan of being the narcissist, while the very pampered princess acts with impunity. Okay, ready for it? Ready for it? Let me see here. Where is that at? Okay, I think this is it. I think this one is it. Thrifty Kate strikes again. Duchess of Cambridge recycles white Alexander McQueen coat dress we've seen 4 times already for surprise attendance at Anzac Day service. She's worn this same white dress, and she just happened to wear it at Harry and Meghan's wedding. Oprah Winfrey had a change at the last minute because she felt as though the dress that she was wearing was disrespectful to the bride. It was just too pale. It was too light. I bet you wasn't as nearly as white as the dress that Kate is wearing. I mean, compare what her daughter has on to what she has on. Compare the two. There's not much sunlight. So she puts that hat on with that hint of yellow to try and give the unlikely excuse that this was not deliberate. It'd be different. I mean, because it is so subtle. It'd be different if I didn't have the proof right here, but I do. I do. According to the Daily Mail, 4 times she's worn that white dress. Okay. Narcissist Kate, who wanted so desperately to make sure that no one else was talking to William that she decided to put that, oh my God, that's such an ugly outfit. And what about Narcissist Kate walking through the field of grain to encourage other people who actually had cancer to use your power, to use your influence, and take a camera crew and go and walk in a field of grain? I just want you to picture, I'm going to say 20, I'm going to go with 22 people. I'm going to just say 22. 22 photographers and videographers, a director, all of those people are using money are actually spending the money, accepting money from the Duchy of Cornwall for this exercise called busy work. Is that Narcissist Kate Middleton crashing the Chelsea Flower Show? You guys, I'm not making this up. To my best knowledge, Charles and Godzilla were supposed to feature prominently at the Chelsea Flower Show. Kate shows up unannounced ahead of Charles and Godzilla. By the time Charles and his concubine arrived, the press were already entrenched around Kate Middleton. And this is one of the reasons why there has been a huge fallout. And if you don't believe me when I say that there's been a fallout between Camilla and Kate, when was the last time you saw them side by side? When was the last time you actually saw them exchange a word or two? When was the last time you saw Kate in the tiara? When was the last time Kate has gone to a state dinner? Now, she went to a reception, but then just like a naughty child, she had to go to bed early and no supper. Also, no Chelsea Flowers show this year for Kate. As a matter of fact, Will and Kate did the garden party, but there was no Charles and Camilla. Is that correct? Is that right, Hazel Jones? Will and Kate did the garden show, but there's no Charles and Godzilla? Now, this is making me nervous for Charles. I know Charles has a trip to Canada coming up and probably needs to rest up and prepare for that. But it seems as though there's this huge preparation for Will and Kate, as though Charles is almost like he's not coming back, from Canada whole and complete, if you know what I mean. Like they suspect that this trip is going to be so exhausting for him that he may not survive it. I really can't say what their thoughts are. And I don't want to put the jinx on them, but it almost seems like they're in the process of preparing them. Narcissist Kate, and God, I hope there's some hate listeners. I hope there are some hate listeners. I promise you, I hope there are. I hope there are people who are sympathetic to those other two that are seeing and hearing this for the first time. That's what I pray. Narcissist Kate, who emerged from the state Bentley. I want to say, do you guys think she's bare-legged there? To me, it looks like her legs are bare. Right? And this is the woman who had a hissy fit about the bridesmaids, the little girls with their flowers and such at Meghan's wedding, that they would be bare-legged. She had a fit about it. Almost refused to participate or allow her daughter to participate. And there she is, an example to mothers all throughout Britain, an example to the daughters all throughout Britain. There she is, a 40-something-year-old woman who has a constitutional role emerging from the state Bentley, flashing her legs all the way up to her nether regions. This wasn't by chance. This was deliberate. And that content creator that has those massive gums in her smile, do you know she actually did a video where she said Meghan Markle needs to learn how to exit a vehicle? Meghan needs to learn how to exit a vehicle. But see, when Kate did this, which is a stunt, Meghan's was not a stunt. Meghan just exited the vehicle. But when Kate does this, they praise her for it. They actually praised her for it. What's that? Hazel Jones said, Charles did the flower show and went to Canada House. He used a walking stick for Chelsea, just like his mother. Just like his mother. Yeah, I feel like they're hiding something. I really do. I feel like they're hiding something. Um, and it seems like they're rushing, like they're literally rushing these misfits into the role. This sudden surge of responsibilities. Not that they didn't have the responsibilities before, but they're actually doing the work. Yep. They're actually doing the work. They've had the responsibilities, but they just didn't make good on it. Now they're doing the work. God, I hope so. And I hope they learn something too. I do hope they learn something. I hope they learn something they could take back. I hope they are listening to an alternative to the nonsense that's been spewing out of Kensington Palace for the past, 5 or 6 years? 7, 8 years. And then, of course, Ingrid, that hybrid of the Droopy the dog, a creature created by Hanna-Barbera cartoons. That hybrid of the Hanna-Barbera humanoid known as Ingrid has created this curious creature that looks so familiar. It would be impossible for them not to all have had a common ancestor in the past, right? Just like with the DNA test, they have had a common ancestor. Ingrid, Droopy have had a common ancestor in the past. And that's why they both look so that's why they both look so much alike, because they've actually had a common ancestor in the past. But yeah, if Charles is using a walking stick, it may not be the end of the world, but as far as I'm concerned, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. So you say no stockings at all. Yeah, the president of North Korea got an eyeful. How disrespectful. And of course, Ingrid, Dickie Arbiter, Richard Fitzwilliam, and of course, Vicky Arbiter with that horrible high-pitched voice. Yes, Victoria Arbiter with that horrible high-pitched voice. And listen, I wouldn't care what she had to say. I just don't want to hear her say it. What's that? Your lashes fell out? So, as ever official, Meghan posted this today. It says, pure joy in every petal. Pure joy in every petal. So that is from the Duchess of Sussex today or yesterday. And of course, maintaining that theme with the flowers, there's this one. So Meghan said that there is something coming. I guess it may have something to do with flowers. Let's wait and see, of course, but flowers may figure prominently in whatever the next thing is. Now, if we don't have any new products out anytime soon, I'm afraid we may have to wait until the fall, just in time for Christmas. Well, it is what it is. I don't want Meghan to release anything until it has been properly vetted. And also, you guys, do bear in mind that there is some issues with the supply chain. There's not as many cargo ships as there were in the past, right? And so whether it's the jars or the lids or whatever the material is that's used, perhaps the paper or cardboard stock used to box everything, who knows what the missing components can be. But there may be some very good reasons why we are waiting for the next thing. Or maybe there's been some type of attempt to breach the trust that they have with the manufacturers, right? Maybe that could be it. Who knows? Who knows? But in the meantime, I don't want to speculate. Whenever Meghan is ready, then I'm ready. Yeah, whenever the Duchess is ready, I'm ready. I'm going to buy whatever's coming down the pipe. Now, I have another soundbite for you. Oh, okay, this works. Okay, here goes. Nope. Okay.
Brits are out here in my mentions. Every time I talk about the royals, the Brits are out here in my mentions saying, you can't talk about the royals, you're American. All I have to say to that is, you first. You stop talking about our American. She left your ass 5 years ago. Stop talking about her first, and then I'll stop talking about them. How about that? You can't have it both ways. I am allowed to talk about the royals. That's like why Americans exist. So yeah, until my free will is taken away, which could be any time, I'm going to continue to talk about these two idiots because at the end of the day, all they are is mediocre white men. Every time I talk about the royals, the Brits are out here in my mentions saying, you can't talk about the royals, you're American. All I have to say to that is, you first. You stop talking about our American. She left your ass 5 years ago. Stop talking about her first, and then I'll stop talking about them. How about that? You can't have it both ways. I am allowed to talk about the royals. That's like why Americans exist. So yeah, until my free will is taken away, which could be any time, I'm going to continue to talk about these two idiots because at the end of the day, all they are is mediocre white men. Every time.
Okay, I played that one twice. That is, let me see, where do you find this lady? I can't make it out. Oh, Katie Fly Fried. So that's Katie, Katie, Fly, Fyl, Fried, Fried. Katie Fly Fried. You can find her on TikTok. TikTok. Now, speaking of Katie, Kate's speech, the British media, like the Mirror, are calling that 8-second mumble note crap below a speech. The fact that the fact that they called that 8-second mumble crap a speech, let me see here, just shows you how desperate they are for Kate to possess the qualities of the great speaker, Meghan. The qualities of that great speaker. There you go. That great speaker, Meghan. Yes. Someone who obviously, well, anyway, it's Sussex Soldier. And I quote Sussex Soldier quite often. Sussex Soldier just wanted you all to know that they are calling this brilliant, this 8-second speech. And what's worse is that she looked like she deferred to notes. It appears as though she referred or deferred, that is, to notes. She needed notes to make sure that she can get through it. I don't have a video. But I will let you hear Kate. And listen, I'm proud of her. This is the best she's ever been. This is her level best.
I have the pleasure to name this ship HMS Glasgow. May God bless her and all who sail on her. I have the pleasure to name this ship HMS Glasgow. May God bless her and all who sail on her.
Okay. Now, as I mentioned, it seemed like Will and Kate are in preparation for the throne. And Charles seems to have retreated from the public scene. He's still out and about, but just not as much. And then I realized that was good even for Kate. Surely she's cheating. Surely she's cheating. She could not have memorized that. And then as I zoomed in closer, I realized that they used the side of the ship as a cheat sheet. You see that? May God bless her and all who sail upon her. See that? She's cheating. She's cheating. The soldiers wanted to make sure that she could get through the speech. So they actually put some banners on the side of the boat, of the ship, so that it would make it easier for her. See there? She cheated. That which should have been very easily memorized, she required a little assistance. Lord knows I'm not surprised. Oh well, I guess the point is that that she was able to get through it at all. I know I'm terrible, right? And then also, I want you guys to pay attention to something. How could one person look so vastly different from, I don't know, I guess from just a couple days ago, right? The Kate on the left has this very milky complexion, almost like that of Madame Tussauds, and the one on the right, well, um, that looks, I don't know, it looks weird. It looks weird. The one on the right seems more natural. The one on the left, I cannot believe that's the same person. And those are raw images, so I don't think that they were edited by the photographer. Well, they could have. There are certain things that you can do instantly on your camera, or you can just do it on your PC. If it's nearby or whatever, you can just do it on your PC. So maybe they did tweak or adjust something. But it looks strange. I have to say it looks very strange. Okay, well, filters. Yeah, that's possible. Maybe they used the filter in advance. And then, of course, take a look at this. It's bad enough that she's walking around with her mouth open like she's soft in the head, right? But, um, look at those hands, like she's ready to grab someone or to get started working, like she can't wait to work. Whereas usually she has those thumbs down to her side. Now she's just like walking and talking and possibly chewing gum. I'm like, what? Where's Kate? Who is this person? But yeah, she's like got her hands all hyperextended, like she's really ready to do something. And is it just me? Hi, Bunny Rose. This is something else I wanted to point out. Notice the lack of what else? Notice that William is walking behind her. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Why is it all of a sudden William is so considerate of his wife? As if she's the blood kin to the family. So why is it that she's walking behind William? I thought that was strange. If that was the Sussexes, we never heard the end of it. We would have never heard the end of it. I'm just saying. Okay. All right, let me continue here. Now, that is, I got another soundbite for you. Let me play that for you.
It happened with this car chase in New York involving Prince Harry and Meghan. Well, I've just got off the phone with someone who was in it. His name is Chris Sanchez. He's with their security detail. He used to be with the Secret Service. He told me it was the worst thing he's ever been through. It wasn't a high-speed chase because they were trying to stick to the speed limits and not put anyone in danger. But it did go on for more than 2 hours. It involved swapping vehicles and trying to get into safe spaces. They said there was about a dozen vehicles, cars, motorbikes, and also cycles chasing them, trying to get pictures. At one point, Harry and Meghan's car was blocked off, and photographers were taking pictures of them. They didn't at any point feel at risk. They were scared, but they didn't feel their life was at risk. They were, however, concerned about people dying on the roads because the Paps, they say, were crossing red lights, going up onto the sidewalk, and they, at several points, they were concerned that pedestrians could be killed. So it was pretty serious as far as they're concerned. So what really happened with this car chase in New York involving Prince Harry and Meghan? Well, I've just got off the phone with someone who was in it. His name is Chris Sanchez. He's with...
So I don't remember that at the time. I remember that other guy who used to work in law enforcement, who did a lot of, he advised a lot of people on television and in politics. I can't remember his name, but he was also very credible. But so is Chris Sanchez. I mean, there he is, a United States Secret Service, and given the task of protecting the Obamas. Yeah, it's either that or nothing. So there you go. Very credible. Please, Baron, showcase freeze frame wave at the Tour de France. Do I have that? I'm not sure that I have that. I'm sorry. If I do, I can't think of what that is. Yeah, my apologies. If I do have it, I'm not sure what it is. I'm sorry. Forgive me, Baron, but what is that symbol? Screw the Met protection. Harry's got Secret Service agent at his side. I say thank the universe. Yeah, Chris Sanchez, I'm pretty sure he has his own business now. He probably trains people because of his experience. And he only spends time out with the Sussexes when it's a very high risk situation. That's when you'll see him. But yeah, otherwise, I haven't seen so much of Chris Sanchez, but New York seemed like the kind of place where he would be. So yeah, even without the Met Police, even without the proper protection, it's okay. Chris Sanchez is still recognized by his peers, even though he wouldn't be able to, let's say, take a firearm into the UK. He is still recognized by his peers, and that would prove to be helpful. I guess, I don't know. But yeah, there you can see him in the red circle right there. That is Chris Sanchez. And yeah, so there's just one of the Sussexes. And look at how large that guy is. Look at how he's huge. Yeah, my goodness, he is huge, huge, massive. You almost don't know how large he is. I mean, take a look here. Okay, so Obama's got to be at least 6'2". You don't realize how large he is until like right here, and it's like, whoa. Yeah. And I think he gained some weight there. Yeah, I do. Not here, but you know what I mean. Yeah, here it looks like he gained weight. Now, leave it to a certain sector of the population to see right through that crap. You know, they say kids say the darndest things. Well, I don't know if they made that kid's, or should I say, I don't know if they would be able to quote him. I mean, oh no, is that a girl? I think that's a girl. Look at how she's looking at Kate. Talk about her eyes are being peeled at Kate. Look at that. I had to crop it so you guys could see it up close. I hope that was helpful. But my. Oh, he went to Nigeria. That's good to know. Now, I want you to take heed of this right here. Those are empty streets in front of Buckingham Palace. Usually, I say usually, there is a crowd of people clamoring to watch the people go inside of the Buckingham Palace. As far as I know, yeah, I think that's an annual event, is people waiting outside to see if there's any celebrities or their favorite royals entering the Buckingham Palace. Well, as you can see, there isn't much of an interest this year. Yeah. Very shallow. Now, take a look there. Doesn't seem to be many people on the sidewalk or on the pavement. Where is everyone? Either you're at the party or you're not. Doesn't seem to be much waiting around to see which pins, or should I say, which celebrities are entering or exiting the garden party, or which royals are arriving. Doesn't seem to be much interest. And now the piece de resistance. What is that? The piece of la resistance. Anyway, the main thing right here. Check it out. The ancestors. The ancestors. Amen, Holmes. You have been a very miserable person. So the ancestors are here to talk to you. Yes, they want to have a little conversation with you. It seemed like the very accident-prone Eamon Holmes strikes again. See there? The moment Eamon Holmes, 65, fell off of his chair live on GB News 2 weeks after being rushed to the hospital when he collapsed at home. Okay. Now, this moment right here, let me play this for you.
So what really happened with this?
Okay.
think Reform will do very well, as they did with the Scunthorpe steelwork. So they came in directly to say that's an area government needs to step in. That's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on.
And so look, there's
Buying a recliner.
and this is where, I think reform will do very well, as they did with the Scunthorpe Steelworks. So they came directly to say, that's an area government needs to step in. That's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on. Go.
And so, look, there's
Buying a recliner chair.
welcome.
So, you guys, don't ask me how many times I have listened to that over and over again. Now, they don't show when that clown falls out of his They do not show you when that clown fell out of his chair. The only thing that we have is the reaction of this poor guy right here, who did his level best to continue speaking. But yeah, he did the best he could to speak. But next thing you know, poor Eamon looks like I don't know, he's just accident prone.
And this is where, I think reform will do very well, as they did with the Scunthorpe Steelworks. So they came directly to say, that's an area government needs to step in. That's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on. Go.
And so, look, there's
Buying
area government needs to step in. That's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on. Go.
And so, look, there's reform will do very well, as they did with the Scunthorpe Steelworks. So they came directly to say, that's an area government needs to step in. That's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on. Go.
And so, look, there's
Buying a recliner chair.
Welcome back. Good to see you again. Especially good for me to see you again. I am still alive, yes. And they're very wonky wheels on chairs that we've got here.
and this is where, I think reform will do very well, as they did with the Scunthorpe Steelworks. So they came directly to say, that's an area government needs to step in. That's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on.
So I didn't have an opportunity to see what Eamon Holmes had on from the waist down, but imagining what a clown he is, I had to take inspiration. I mean, he has the ridiculous yellow necktie and the pocket square that probably, I don't know, squirts water or seltzer or something like that. So I'm just like, out of respect for, might as well grab something helpful, right? Something elegant. I don't know. This is too funny. It's too funny. So throw him over the balcony. Eamon Holmes savages Harry after a protecting Queen remark. And then, of course, there's this. Let's do that one more time.
And this is where, I think reform will do very well, as they did with the Scunthorpe Steelworks. So they came directly to say, that's an area government needs to step in. That's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on. Go.
And so, look, there's
Buying a recliner chair.
Welcome back. Good to see you again. Especially good for me to see you again. I am still alive.
How do you act natural when somebody has gone belly up just a couple feet away from you? First of all, do you love what I've done with that image? Yes or no? Do you love that or what? Is that perfect or what? I thought it was an excellent representation of the situation at hand. Oh, well, it was fun. It was fun. Yes, karma. And of course, let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. That's right. Let the church say amen. Amen. And of course, the reactions from the a chorus of, I guess, social media memes. If you can grab just a few people from those social media memes, this is their reactions. Now, a popular UK TV host faces criticism for saying Harry and Meghan Markle should be thrown over the palace balcony. Or how about this one? Jeremy Clarkson's Meghan Markle column was sexist. UK media regulators rules. The Sun forced to print ruling on front page, exclusive. And then lastly, that whole head Piers Morgan, sports, what is that? Outrage. I'm sorry, sparks outrage as he says he would dismember and incinerate Prince Harry. God. Gosh, that's awful. Ooh, ooh. Anyway, this is the kind of stuff that they casually say about Harry or the Sussexes. All right, we're going to close with this today, you guys. I want to close with something very, very sweet. Check it out. I don't know how long they've been out, but that is the Betty White Forever postage stamp. How cool is that? The Betty White Forever postage stamp. Now, I don't know if all the post office have it right now, but I did buy a sheet. I think it was a sheet of 20. So if you value the area, actually, if you value, sorry about that, I knocked that over. If you value Betty White's image, a keepsake, or you want to share it with your friends, maybe you want to mail something to a friend in St. Olaf, well, you can. What a surprise when Betty White appears on the envelope. So I love it. Yep, it's a Betty White Forever stamp. That means whatever price you pay for it, even if the price of postage rises, you don't pay anything extra. You can use it for any standard envelope or any envelope. So, okay, thank you all very much. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And happy weekend. Happy Friday to you all. Let's see. Yes, everyone, please keep praying for Meghan's podcast. Give it a good rating. Yeah, I'm just afraid that a lot of people have dropped off from the podcast. And listen, don't let these tabloid people get into your head. Meghan knew exactly what kind of podcast she wanted to do. This is a collection of podcasts designed to celebrate or acknowledge women in business, right? Especially, female founders. So I think that it's going to be a great resource for any woman or any man who wants to start But anyway, that's it. So thank you, Paula Girl. All right. By the way, I don't know how the fundraiser is going for Archie and Lily, but there's so many fundraisers. There's so many fundraisers to choose from. So let your conscience be your guide. There's a whole bunch of fundraisers available. So lots of causes, great causes and otherwise. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Choose your fundraisers wisely. No shade. Okay, we got to hear that one more time. We got to hear that one more time, don't we? We really got to hear that one more time. I won't be able to rest if I don't hear it again.
And this is where, I think reform will do very well, as they did with the Scunthorpe Steelworks. So they came directly to say, that's an area government needs to step in, that's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on.
And so, look, there's
Buying a recliner.
and this is where, I think reform will do very well, as they did with the Scunthorpe Steelworks. So they came directly to say, that's an area government needs to step in, that's where nationalisation needs to come in.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, forget it. Fine. Just carry on.
And so, look, there's
Buying a recliner chair.
Welcome back. Good to see you again.
Okay. So oh my goodness. Okay. All right. We're good. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, moderators.